up today? Normally I'm weeding the tomatoes, maybe pruning them up a little bit, and hopefully get this bed cleaned out. You know, where I live doesn't get real warm. It's about 60 degrees, which I think is an absolutely beautiful day for where I'm at. And to compensate for that, I built this hot box. It's just plastic. It's 16 feet long. No, it's about 12 feet long, about 6 foot wide. And it's just plastic that I bought, 2x4s, all into the project for like, I think the roll of plastic was like 20 bucks. I had the 2x4s already. And this little hot box typically keeps it 20 to 30 degrees warmer than the outside temperature, which works out pretty well. I've been growing my own strain of tomato. I haven't named it, but it's a crossbreed between a beefsteak and a Siberian husky. And the reason why I did that is because it's cold here, and the Siberian huskies are known for their hardiness in the cold weather. And got a really sandy soil out here at the coast. Which you would think is good, but it drains pretty quickly and doesn't allow much moisture retention. So to kind of combat that, I brought in some topsoil, and I also do a lot of composting as well as worms. Worms really help build soil quality. So I released, I don't know, 50 to 60. No, I released pounds of red wiggler worms, and they really helped kind of build up my soil quality. I used to absolutely go crazy. I have 3 raised beds, and I used to grow, hundreds, not hundreds, but 20 pounds of tomatoes or more annually. And I'd just give them all away. My friends, family, different people in the community. And I kind of scaled that back a little bit. I only grow typically 2 to 3 tomato plants now. What's up, nothing? How's it going, man? Good to see you. Just doing a little bit of gardening, hanging out, weeding the tomatoes. Yeah, so I used to go crazy on this garden. I'd grow, 7 or 8 tomato plants. And Josh Johnson, good morning. Good to see you, buddy. Jackie Anico? Sorry if I butchered that. But we're just doing some garden maintenance. I got some tomatoes here. I had to grow them in this hot box because I live out at the coast and it doesn't get real warm here. We have an average temperature. I don't think we've had a day above 70. So I built this little hot box, and it's 2x4s in plastic, but it really helps out with the temps. This particular tomato here is a hybrid that I created. It's a combination between beefsteak and Siberian husky. And I've been growing my own particular strand of tomato where I live for about 15, no, about 10 years now. And I've been working on it, trying to figure out what grows best in my soil and climate. I live out in the coast of Washington State, so we don't get heat, and the air here is pretty salty. Lots of amendments because it's all sand. We don't have any nutritional value to our soil. So I did some composting, a little bit of worms. I try not to spend a ton of money. I appreciate it, Jackie. Oh, it's not the easiest growing conditions here. From where I moved from inland, and it was a lot warmer. We were hitting 70, 80 degrees, which the tomatoes seem to like. And I've grown all these. I grew these from seeds. I don't buy starts. I cross pollinate different. It's kind of like a hobby. I enjoy breeding different types of tomatoes. Or, I mean, I'm not like starting my own from wild, but I definitely cross pollinate and get different seeds and strains of tomatoes. Maybe a little bit of splicing as well. Like I said, I've been working on this particular stock for, it going on about 10 years, and it produces a nice fat, like almost like beefsteak tomato. It doesn't produce until a little bit late in the summer, and pretty good flavor. It's definitely an heirloom. I left the top open to this hot box that I call it, and I had some deer come through and kind of give me a little haircut on most of my plants, which is always so discouraging. But they gotta eat too. It's always funny to yeah, Josh, man, it can be discouraging. You put some time into a garden, and I have a lid that rolls down to kind of help keep the heat in and the deer out. But they came through and just set me back, and it can be kind of discouraging. But just kind of keep going. I don't remember planting these, but looks like a little French radish, and I actually have 3 raised beds, and I used to plant like peas and carrots and radishes and cabbages and zucchinis and cucumbers and all of that. But as my hobbies kind of grew, gardening kind of got scaled back. It's still something I thoroughly enjoy. I don't have as much time for it as I once did, and so I planted. I got 3 raised beds, plus the flowers. Probably 6 by 8. No, they're more like 6 by 10. I can't remember. And this one I still grow tomatoes and peppers in. And the other ones I got raspberries. Yeah, Josh. I've always been into gardening. Always been into fishing. Always just kind of been into the outdoors. And for me, fishing and gardening kind of work well together. I compost, and that gives me worms for the fishing. And I use a lot of my fish waste, like the carcasses, to use as composts for the plants. I like coming out here in the morning. It's calm. Like I said, I do a lot of fishing. That's kind of predominantly what the channel does. But just thought I'd take some time and share my other hobby. Also growing peppers. I got tons of I used, like I said, I used to go really all out. I'd grow like 7 or 8 tomato plants, get 50, 50, 60 tomatoes for the whole neighborhood, right? But I've kind of scaled back. I just got 3 plants now. This one's a Brandywine tomato. That one's the one that it's a Siberian Husky beefsteak hybrid that I've created. And then I got one little, oh hell, I can't remember now. Huh, a tomato. It's something, and they're all doing pretty well. For not getting the heat that they really need. Over here is kind of the peppery side. We got Jackie, I appreciate that. It's nothing crazy. We're not canning or anything along those lines. But I enjoy it. These are my peppers. We have everything from bell pepper to North Carolina Reaper. And these are a little harder to grow because they like real hot, and I don't get real hot. But they're doing okay. We'll have some peppers, and last year I installed a drip line. So we got drip lines, and there's a little plug-in on the outside of the hot box, and the drip line runs through and waters all of everything except the flowers. I got quite a bit of flowers, and that was never my thing. I kind of just did it for the wife, but I'm starting to really enjoy them. It adds a lot of color. It's really gray and drizzly where I live. Yeah, it's rewarding. I mean, you put a little bit of time in it, and you come out and you look at all your plants, and the smell of a tomato plant is pretty intense. Everybody says flowers smell really good, and they do. If you get a nice rose or something along those lines, they smell pretty good. I have raspberries, and raspberries are in season. I'm gonna finish weeding this bed, and then I'll show you guys around the rest of the garden area. Yeah, I also have raspberries and blueberries and strawberries. We had a pretty good strawberry harvest this year. Not enough to make like jam or jelly, but definitely enough to put on some ice cream. I get tons of these little volunteer tomatoes. Jackie O. Yeah, let's do it. All right. If we're talking my favorite plant in the yard right now, it's got to be these. Hold on. These are Tigridia. Those are Tigridia, and they're absolutely beautiful. And they only bloom for 12 hours. You get a 12-hour bloom, and then they're just done forever. Not forever. They come back every year, but they do about a 12-hour bloom, and then they're gone. So it's just something you got to enjoy, while you have it. Other things are coming on, not quite in bloom yet. I'll show you guys. They're I've been getting raspberries off of them. You can see the berries there. They're doing well. Off of that bed, I will get, I don't know, 1,000 raspberries or so. This is my strawberry bed. Uh, these are ever-bearing strawberries, which means they produce year-round. And they're not quite ready, but they've already bloomed once this year, so anything I get is just kind of excess. But this is, we got a Japanese maple. These are mini irises. They're done for the season. These I am super excited by. These are dahlias, and they're new to the garden this year. They're just getting ready to bloom. And this big guy right here is a gladiola. And gladiolas get pretty cool. If you guys subscribe to the channel, I'll show you the stuff when it's all bloomed out. The Tigridia looks pretty cool. But next step is kind of those dahlias. And they're pretty epic once they get into full bloom. Same thing with those gladiolas. They look amazing, Feels good to get a little bit of dirt between the fingers. Thanks, Mr. I sure do. I have a little, she's a Chiweenie. Yeah, man, I tried to keep everything organized. Everything's kind of got its place, and I kind of try to keep it there. Uh, those Tigridias that I showed you. Hold on, one question at a time. Yeah, I do. I own a dog. I own a Chiweenie, which is a Chihuahua Dachshund mix. And she is absolutely my best friend. And I'm surprised she's not out here now. But I think she's in eating breakfast with the wife. So I also I got fish. I have a couple big aquariums and a couple small aquariums. And I'm an avid fish keeper as well as fish catcher. So love animals, love nature, love dogs, big dog person. I don't mind cats, but they just don't. You said you used to have a dog. You know, they're like kids that you live longer than. It's weird. You love them and spend a lot of time getting attached to them, and then they kind of get old and pass away. It's hard. It's hard owning pets sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, Josh, I can relate to that, man. I had a dog pass away, and it's been over a year ago, and I still think about that little guy all the time. It's It's tough. That's it, Josh. I mean, tell stories about him, think about him. That's uh that's all you can do, you know? That memory kind of lives on. That's how they live on, right? Buddy, Rocky, mine was Bigsby. and he was the first little dog I really ever had. And he was a Chiweenie as well, Chihuahua Dachshund mix. And he was my shotgun rider. I mean, everywhere I went, every fishing trip, every camping trip, every gardening trip. Fun story about Bigsby, the dog. He would dig radishes out of the garden and eat them. I kid you not, like radishes were his favorite little treat, and he would go out to the garden, dig radishes, and eat them. It was the oddest thing. So this happens quite a bit. This is just we call them I call them volunteers. Hey, Jesus is the best. Thanks for checking us out. Hope you're having a great Sunday, Saturday, Saturday. Let me a little bit ahead of myself. But this is a volunteer tomato that just popped up, and I grow heirloom seeds in my own strands. And this has a little different leaf pattern than the typical tomatoes, which makes me curious to see what it is. I'm a little bit. Thanks, Josh. It was good to see you, man. Have a great day, bro. So, I mean, I call these little volunteers, but I kind of want to plant it. It's a little late in the season, but I'm hoping that maybe I can get a late bloom if the weather holds out here on the coast. I'm gonna go ahead and replant this guy. And thing about tomatoes is you can trim off these two bottom leaves and bury it really deep. And that's what I'll do, especially if we're this late in the game. I will typically bury those tomatoes so just the tops are sticking out. And what that does is creates a huge root base. And hopefully we can get some tomatoes later in the season from that. Jackie O, where are you from? I mean, you don't have to give me your address. I mean, just continent would be fine. Eagle Pass. All right. Don't know where that is, but Orlando, Florida. I've been to Pensacola a couple times, but never been down to Orlando. I'm kind of a nerd in my free time, and I would love to go see Universal Studios Orlando. Uh, Harry Potter World sounds amazing. 20 years ago when they were popular, that was totally my thing. And I'm still sad that Dumbledore died. But no, man, Florida's pretty cool. Never been that far in the south, but all right, got that bed looking pretty good and weed free. I was in the Navy once upon a time, and I got to do a fair amount of traveling. So I've been all around this place, all around the world, honestly. Kind of settled here in the Pacific Northwest. That's the outside of that hot box. I just built it out of 2x4s and leftover scrap wood that I had. That's the truck. Don't she look pretty? But so when I want to water, it's a pretty simple setup I got going on. I'll show you guys. I have drip lines that run everywhere. So all I have to do is screw in to this little port right here. And this hose runs into a drip line that feeds through all three of my beds. It'll feed the tomatoes, the raspberries, and the strawberries. The thing about the drip line is it's slow. Who's going to Vegas? So like I said, all I gotta do is just screw that on there. I don't have to move a sprinkler around. I just kick that on and waters all my vegetables for me. Going to Vegas. It's hot there, bro. I heard it's like 100 and something degrees in Vegas right now. So we got the water turned on. You can see it just runs through that drip line and slowly just keep it, keep it kind of simple. And then it runs underground right here through the walkway into the raspberries. You can see it down there. Sorry, I put netting up all the way across. I got to put this netting up to keep the deer out. Otherwise, I don't have any raspberries left. This is just the kind of area next to my shed. This bush blooms really pretty in the a little bit later on in the year. I think that's an artichoke there. Planted him about 2 years ago. Never harvested. Had artichokes ever since. That's my azalea. He's kind of late season bloom. But let's stroll down and I'll show you guys the backyard. Hopefully it's not too glitchy. Anytime I start moving the camera around, looks pretty rough. These are pretty cool. I'll show you this. This is a yucca bush, and it grows these huge stalks with amazing white flowers. If you guys sub to the channel, I'll definitely show you what that looks like when it's full bloom. This is more Crocosmia. We can find some of that. It's in bloom. I'm lucky to live on a 5-acre pond. Thanks, Jackie. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is my backyard. I do live fishing every day, 7 p.m. And supposed to get some rain today. Beautiful day in the rainy Pacific Northwest. But over here is my blueberry bushes. And I've been working on these for like 2 or 3 years and haven't had too much growth because I wasn't watering them enough, to be honest. But as you can see this year, they're doing pretty well. Loaded with blueberries. This is a Crocosmia here. And it kind of just grows wild. And I just kind of let it grow wild, but it's a pretty flower. This is my massive fuchsia bush. And it's loaded. And the hummingbirds absolutely love that fuchsia bush. Maybe hold the camera still. Yeah, I'm a huge blueberry fan as well. That's my official mascot flag, living out at the coast. These are some kind of wildflowers here next to the pond. There's butterfly flowers, little yellow ones, and then of course the Crocosmia, which is absolutely beautiful. That's the backyard pond. It goes for about 5 miles that way. But yeah, that's what we got. That's the garden, you know. Hey, I'm gonna head inside and get some breakfast. Thanks for checking out the channel and just checking out my garden. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.